This is our 38 base plate Lego Winter Village. We just finished constructing it just in time for the holidays. And today in this video, we're going to be moving it into the Lego City. We've got the perfect elevated spot for it here in the Lego City. Right over there. It's 4 base plates deep, 9.5 base plates wide, but it's currently green. Well, that doesn't look very good. It's even a couple different shades of green. Actually, looks like 3 almost, doesn't it? One of my main goals here in early 2025 is to improve the overall appearance of the Lego City, and I think moving that Winter Village in the back left corner there is going to help a lot. First things first, we've just got to remove all of these base plates that I actually just put up here the other day, and I did that because we did the major Lego City overview, and I couldn't stand looking at this big white table surface. Of course, one of my main goals here in 2025, as I mentioned, is to improve the overall look of the Lego City, and I think getting studs everywhere is definitely the first step. Now, originally when we had the Winter Village up here, I thought it would be a great place for it, and I still think it is a great place for it. That's why we're moving it here today, and having it up here is going to be really cool because it's going to be at the highest point in the Lego City with a ski slope around it. And you know, it was really nice having it down there on the diorama tables for the holiday season, but now that it's actually complete, I can't wait to see it up here in its designated spot in the Lego City. So there we go, we're getting all those base plates cleared there, making space for the awesome Winter Village. Once again, 38 base plates, so it's a pretty big surface. In order to move the Winter Village, I have to split it into all of its different modules, but before I do that, I have to remove anything that can break. For example, Santa Claus. I don't want him to fall to the ground, even though he did. Now I'm going to split all the modules into their own individual entities. There are a total of 18 of them. 10 large ones, which actually consist of the Winter Village, and then 8 smaller ones, which are the cobblestone roads, all of which are held together by some pieces, but mostly the train track that goes around the entire perimeter. Another thing that was holding all the roads together was actually these streetlights, and of course, as I do this, I cause a little bit of destruction. But that's to be expected. So here we go. We've got all 18 modules ready to go. And they're all different sizes, like some of them are 64 by 64 studs, some of them are 48 by 32, some are even only 16 studs wide, just because I had to make it fit that surface up there, which is sort of a weird shape, like it's 9.5 base plates wide. If you think about the size of this Winter Village, it's essentially a standard piece of plywood or melamine minus 8 inches of depth. Now it's time to place things one by one, starting with the chalet. Gonna put that in the front right corner there, and that also has the cross-country skiing and just a couple road plates in front of that. And as I move these, I like to clip them together just so I don't have to do it all in the end, and I'm just doing that by attaching the train track. And then there's Hogsmeade, which of course is the 3 broomsticks and honeydukes, and then that really fun plate with the little ski slope and all of the Christmas trees, and the trail that leads up to the skating rink that has the large Christmas tree in the middle. And when I place that, of course, I've got to stand up a bunch of things that fell over, such as the minifigures that were skiing and the ones that were skating as well. But for the most part, everything was tacked down nicely. There we have the Holiday Main Street and the 2 road plates that go in front of Holiday Main Street and behind the skating rink. And some of the buildings actually had to be removed as well because they bridged over a couple different plates. Next up is the large plate with the Alpine Lodge and the tree farm, and then finally some of the Santa's Village stuff, such as the post office, Santa's workshop, and the gingerbread house. Now we're not quite done yet because there's some missing buildings there. Once again, some of the buildings had to be removed, so I'm going to put the Elf Clubhouse in there, and then also put the tram back on the train line and put the Winter Village fire station in the corner. And there's one more that's missing, and that is Santa's visit. But now all the houses are back, and I just need to fix up some of the details, such as putting that hot air balloon back behind the post office, stringing that long string of streetlights down the Holiday Main Street, and also in front of the Winter Village Chalet. And then there's the sketchy part, putting Santa Claus back. Yeah, it took me quite a long time. It didn't take me this long the first time when I was building the Winter Village with Jose, but for some reason it was just playing a little bit of a trick with my mind today. I wanted to put the sleigh and the reindeer at 2 different angles, so it's angled and it's also tilted. In order to do that, I had to put a support on top of the Winter Village fire station and then a support on the ground right by the cross-country skiing track. Now I do this using the 1x2x5 clear glass panels, also the 1x2 bricks, and I build them up so they're at the right height so we can get that nice vertical angle. And then to get the horizontal angle, I don't know what you want to call it, I guess the vertical angle would be pitch, but to get the other one, I used the little turntable pieces that you can put chairs on. So there's a bunch of trial and error involved with this process, but it does end up working out quite nicely. And then just fix up some of the final details there and get that tram fired up and just test it to make sure that it doesn't run into trees or to make sure that there's no obstructions on the track. Here's a close-up of Santa and his reindeer. So he's pitched and at an angle, and you can see the turntable right there. It is pretty sketchy, but the angle of that turntable matches the angle of the turntable that is supporting his sleigh as well, and his sleigh is mounted right down there. Aesthetics wasn't the only reason I wanted to move the Winter Village today, although it was the main one, that's for sure. I plan on working on this area, that being the countryside, in the near future, probably like tomorrow. So in addition to moving the Winter Village, I also wanted to get everything that didn't belong in here out of the way, or even if it did belong in here, out of the way in general, because I want to get work in here. That included all of the base plates full of trees that have been sitting here for quite some time, so those mills plates are now gone. Also the farm, there was like a barn, so I got that out of the way, and the Sanderson sisters' cottage, and a few other things, and I cleaned up a bunch of the multicolored bricks that were laying around everywhere, and I fixed up all of the base plate positions so they now make sense and they're just ready to be mills plated. So it feels good just to clean this area up and get everything that was randomly placed throughout out of the way, other than those two cottages up there, the observatory, and then the house that was built by Simon up on the soon-to-be mountain. But I think getting the Winter Village moved was a game changer. That looks so much better than multicolored green base plates. Now that it's complete, it looks epic up there. Like, I am so happy with that. Sure, when it was like a quarter built, it definitely didn't look very good up there, but now that it's actually full of minifigures and trees and details and colors, it just looks pretty cool way up there. It's floating. It's a floating city for now. It's like Cloud City. There you go. I like the way that it looks with the cloud background as well. And it just adds a whole nother dimension to the city. Even when you're looking at the city from this perspective, where we have the downtown core, you can just see the Winter Village poking out there. In person, it looks a lot different than on camera. Like, I can see Santa Claus perfectly. I can see the big trees, the hot air balloon. I can see them perfectly from over here, and all of the buildings as well. And it's pretty cool because we have like levels or tiers now. We have the beach and the water, the train track, the modular buildings, the residential area, and then in the very far background, there is the Winter Village. Where did all that stuff end up? Well, where the Winter Village used to be. So we've got our base plates full of trees, and when I work on that countryside, maybe tomorrow, I'm going to start using all of these trees. So all of those are going to be out of here, and these mills plates will be open for the taking, which is pretty awesome. I just threw down some random base plates trying to fill in this area. I put the general store in the only area that I have base plated off in tan. There you go. It's my lonely western area with the barn in behind. And then we also had the burrow, so I decided to put the burrow here just because why not? It gets it out of the way, and I guess it doesn't really look good behind palm trees. Maybe I should just switch the positions of those so that the burrow is in front. That probably would make sense, but it's all temporary. And then we had this train station and the platform coverings just like randomly scattered throughout the city. They were like underneath the table, underneath the elevated platform that supports the Winter Village, and just sort of floating around aimlessly. So I decided to get all of this stuff grouped together over here. It's just sort of like our temporary storage, which one day will be nicely detailed. How about the perspective from up here as well? I'm always walking down these stairs at least 50 times a day. Yeah, that looks so much better than green, doesn't it? There we go. Ah, just wait till we get the mountains built and that countryside going. It's gonna be so cool. I've got to say, because the Winter Village was split into 18 different modules, it was really easy to move. I'm happy I was able to include you in the process here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future. Farewell.